What is up, everybody? Happy freaking Sunday! I'm so stoked to see you all. How you all doing today? I am freaking, we got a new light, so it's a little bit brighter in a weird way here, so we got different lighting. Freaking got a new light. How we all doing? I just wanted to start it off with a good note there. Diana, how you doing? Freaking Masha Cat in that chat. Freaking flowers. How is everybody? Thank y'all for hanging out early. Addison is here. Freaking Leah is here. Jackie Hunt with the no bands of the YouTube. Freaking we're living on the edge here. Miso Soup, how you doing? Jesse. Freaking yes. Amber Lash, how are you, my friend? I got to stop by her stream on Twitch a couple of days ago. She's got an amazing voice. Y'all should definitely check her out. Freaking Meg! What is up, homie? I gotta check out her stream recently on Twitch as well, too. I've been over on Twitch, just checking people out a lot. And if you're streaming on YouTube, I'll watch you here, too. Meg can assemble shelves like nobody's business. I'm telling you, you go to an IKEA, you're like, what do I do with all these pieces? They sent me like a 1,000-piece set, all the screws, everything, but they didn't send me instructions. Call Meg. Call her on her cell phone. She's got you. Jose in the freaking house. BTS Nuna. Freaking no one saying what's up from LA. Lower Alabama. I freaking love that place. Angel, how you doing? Draws! Yes! How is everybody? Hello. So if you guys are new to my live streams, and yeah, I like to say what's up to every single person in chat. If you're here giving me any of your attention, you got all mine. So that's what we got going on tonight. I'm going to say what's up to everybody, and then we're going to be starting the BU. I am so freaking stoked about that. How funny would it be? I didn't even check to see if my microphone was going. How ridiculous would it be if, like, nobody could have even heard me? That would be a me thing. That would be a me thing to happen here. We are going through the freaking list. Liz is in the house. How you doing? Addison's here. How are you, my homie? Marley is here as well, too. What up, Marley? Hello, everyone, she says. What up? Diana, how are you doing? Freaking yes. Finch Chaos, I think is how you say your name. Sarah in the house. Kaylee O'Brien. Yes. Shelly is here. Freaking Quincy. Yeah. How is everybody? BTS Nuna is here and Addison. I freaking love you guys. I'm ready for John's mind to get totally blown. All the music videos take on a whole new meaning. That's what I'm excited about here, Draws, because to be honest with you, I think that there's so many times in music reactions that I've done things where I'm like, what is there a bigger story here? Like, I'm trying to think of which one it was that it had to be directly from the BU. There was a moment where somebody stabbed someone else and I was like, what the heck happened? So there's a lot of moments where I'm very excited about it, man. Very freaking excited about it. Jude's in the house. Freaking yes. So sorry it's taking me so long to go through. Mel, freaking how you doing? Daryl, how are you? Yes, everybody, I freaking love y'all to death. Karen, freaking Mary Jane. Miso freaking Soup. What's happening with Hong Kong? So yeah, we can go on and start catching up everybody on some stuff as well too. Ooh, I need you. That's it. Yes. Thank you. Heck yeah. Karen B, how are you doing as well too? And Mary Jane and freaking yeah. But all right, so here we go. So essentially, and Crazy Old Grandma, there you go. I was like, I know I'm missing somebody. And Marley Smith and freaking Nikki, how are y'all doing? Time for John to get even more confused. I'm freaking here. Zandro, what is up, homie? How you doing? So check it out. Okay, so with Hong Kong, not 100% sure yet, and like, I'm a very transparent person, and I don't like to, I'm not ever going to hide anything from you guys. If I've got something going on, I'm going to definitely tell you guys what I've got going on. So essentially, I've had a lot of people offer me a ticket to get out there, and if y'all go through my comments recently, especially the places we'll go, a lot of people have been like, dude, Dimash is playing a show in Hong Kong. So a lot of people have been like, hey, are you going to Hong Kong? You want to go to Hong Kong? Are you going to go to Hong Kong? And finally, I was just like, I don't have a ticket. I don't have anything planned out. But if I can make it happen, I'll freaking go. And so a lot of people have said, if you can make it to Hong Kong, I'll get you a ticket. Or I've got a ticket. I've got an extra ticket you can have if you can make it to Hong Kong. So a lot of people have offered me a ticket. Plane tickets to Hong Kong are like freaking $2,000+. And I've got it figured out to where I can fly out, make it to the concert, and then fly directly back the next morning and be back home for Christmas with my family. So I've got the whole thing planned out. I do have a possible sponsorship, and if the sponsorship goes through, I will obviously be doing their like shout outs on a lot of shout outs on the travel vlog for the Dimash concert in Hong Kong. I'm not sure that it's going to happen yet, but if it does, they came through in a big way. So I'm definitely going to be like, oh, they freaking sponsored the crap out of us. And I'm not going to shout their name out yet, but he said hopefully, and he'll give me a green light. He'll let me know whenever we've got the all green. So fingers crossed, but it is a big, probably more sponsorship money than I've ever been like, oh crap, but every bit of that money would go towards getting me a hotel room and a plane flight there and back. So that's what the sponsorship would go towards. It's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm rich. Definitely not anything like that. It's just straight up, literally, I sent them over how much it's gonna cost, and they were like, well, let's see if we can do this. And I was like, I'll wear your clothes the whole time I'm over there, all that stuff. So that's what we're going for. Yeah, full transparency over here, homies. I wouldn't be here if not for you guys, and I don't ever want to hide anything from y'all. So I'm always going to be able to be like that with y'all. And if anybody ever goes over to my Twitch channel and watches me stream on Twitch, you already know this. I am like a freaking open book. So if you got questions, ask them, and we got this. 2.5 motherfucking brothers! What up, dudes? All right, wait, is it Jake? Are you Jake in the house? Who we got over here, man? Alex, what we got going on? I freaking love it, man. Also, Draw said, oh, I have soju. Yes. What's y'all's favorite flavor of soju? But now that we've got that out of the way, are we ready to have our minds thoroughly blown? Because I think that it's going to happen, peeps. Let's see what this is actually, too. I need to let people see, like, we have chat box here as well, too. Let me make sure that... you know, I don't actually know how to get the chat box on here. Oh, there we go. We got the chat box. Look at us go. We've done it. People said we couldn't, but here we are doing it up. Chat boxing. We've done it. It is freaking Jake. Jake, what is up, dude? I love Hong Kong. I'm really hoping that I get to go, man. I'm not 100% sure yet that it will happen, but if it does, I'm gonna let everybody know. I'm gonna make a whole video and be like, dude, I'm freaking going to Hong Kong. So fingers crossed, man. All right, active question in chat though. Favorite flavor of soju, if you guys have. Meg said, our homie Meg is going to be going and doing a little of the homeworks, so take care, which you all know what that means. We're going to give it about 5 minutes, and we're going to burn the stream room down. Yes. I'm just kidding. Or am I? I don't know. Taking cold medication stuff. Hopefully I'll make it halfway. Oh, still glitching. I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling good. Flay, how you doing? I'm so sorry you're not feeling good. Mary Jane, John, be prepared to have your mind explode. If I get to make it to a Dimash concert, I am fully prepared that I'm unprepared. There's no way I can prepare for that. I'll probably explode. I don't know, but I definitely, it's weird. If I go by myself, I'm probably going to be a sobbing wreck, okay? I'm probably just going to be bawling my freaking eyes out, especially if our homie starts playing. If Dimash sings like freaking The Story of One Sky or SOS, which like he almost has to, right? But if he sings either of those songs, I'm just going to video it. It's just going to be me crying like, oh God, whole time. Oh, definitely. Are you watching videos in order? They're watching the summary or just watching the summary? So today, Megan, we're going to be watching, X Celeste actually has a whole summary of the, of this. So we're going to start off watching that. And then from there, I believe Meg and some mods, maybe Flowers as well too. Some people have things together for us to be going through the BU and like watching it in order. So hopefully that's what we've got going on. But yeah. Man, there's a lot of peach soju, grapefruit, which cashew. By the way, grapefruit soju, I used to like hate grapefruit flavoring. I used to hate that, but it's so freaking good. Misa said, just watched your Masked Singer reaction to Dimash. I didn't know that he was not a contestant on there, because I was like, if he was a contestant, no one's going to win that. Like, he's going to beat them. And turns out, Addison, we're going to live here, like, live here in an hour or so I won't be watching too much. Come back to me, Jake. Just stream you watching me stream and let us talk. We have to talk. Dude, no, for real though, anybody watching 2.5 Brothers, freaking awesome. Jake is hilarious. I know him. I've met him, hung out with him. Great dude. And then your brother and cousin. Freaking awesome dudes as well, too. So thank you very much for coming by. Freaking Bianca Wilson. I love watermelon soju. I think that's my favorite flavor. You just nailed it. Freaking watermelon soju. One of my favorite flavors of anything ever in the whole entire history of the world. Okay, here we go. Let's freaking do this. I'm going to pause this music, even though it's ballin'. How are we going to pause it right there, you ask? I don't know. But thank you, XLS, for making this video. Boom. We're going to watch it. People said we weren't, but we're doing it. Really. And then also, before we do anything else, let me grab this little homie and maybe bring it over there. We're going to bring it to this area. And then freaking, y'all can't even see what I'm doing yet, but I'm moving the chat box around so it doesn't look too doofy. All right, boom. Chat box is back up. Alert box is up. We're ready to go. Y'all ready to do this? I'm rocking the raw soju tonight. Straight up. Just raw soju. And I freaking love it. John, I had some problems with the pump, my pump kept disconnecting in my phone. Oh, no. Oh. Jesse, no, that's not good. But have you got it figured out now, though? I can't drink alcohol, but currently drinking pineapple and apple mixed juice right now. Ah, Nikki, that sounds delicious. Listen, alcohol, some alcohol. It's good. I think soju is delicious, but if you can't drink or if you don't choose to drink, there's a lot of delicious freaking drinks out there, and I'm all about it. So drink or not, I don't. Either way, you're good with me, man. You're good with me either way. Least favorite soju is original flavor. I drank one time the fresh, soju fresh. That was the roughest drink I think I've ever had in my life. Don't know why I didn't like it, but it was bad. It tasted like water, but then the aftertaste of alcohol, and I was like, this ain't it. This is not it. All right, remember, this is Celeste's interpretation. I don't agree with everything she says. Earth Mother, if there's anything in here where you're just like, I don't agree with this. This ain't it. Comment. Let me know in here as well, too. But as always, just please remember to be respectful. She's freaking awesome. Content creator as well, too. And we're all entitled to our opinions. So anybody out there, if there's any parts in this that you don't agree with or anything like that, politely just state your points, homies. Let's talk about it. That's what we're here for right now, actually, too. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't know that this wasn't like necessarily 100%. This is the law. So it's her interpretation, and I'm freaking here for it. So let's do this. Y'all ready? Freaking a boom.
Welcome back to my channel and to an updated BTS storyline summary. Reminder that this is a fictional storyline created by Big Hit.
I'm gonna like turn it up just a little bit too.
Information from BTS's music videos, films, highlight reels, concert VCRs, Save Me webtoon, BTS
concert
Universe
VCRs,
game, notes album, and the Notes 1 and 2 books. Yeah, puzzle pieces everywhere.
God, this is so much, man.
This is an updated version from my last BTS storyline summary back in 2019.
Is that any better? Can you guys hear it better? I've been turning it up slightly, but in my chat might be a little bit behind, but is that any better? Can you guys hear it? And also, can we please get happy birthday Jin in the chat? Can we just get hashtag happy birthday Jin, like everybody in the whole chat? Please hashtag happy birthday Jin or something, BTS Jin, anything like that, please. It's his freaking birthday. Love that dude to death, and I'm so stoked that I'm actually streaming on his birthday. Freaking stoked. Okay.
But since then, we've gotten a lot more information, so that's why I'm making this updated version. Enjoy! We'll begin with the boys meeting in high school, March 2, year 19. The boys were late for school and were sent to clean the storage classroom as punishment. Through this event, they became close friends and made the storage classroom their secret hideout.
Aww.
They shared a lot of happy moments together, filled with laughter and joy. June 12, year 19. They decided to ditch school to find a rock by the sea that would grant wishes, but when they got there, the rock was no longer there.
I love seeing all the happy birthday
It was
Jins.
under
Thank
construction
you guys.
for a seawall, but they still shouted out their dreams over the loud sounds of the drill. This was when they took their first Polaroid picture. As time went on, hardships in life began to tear them apart. Around May year 20, Namjoon moved to the countryside with his brother, mother, and ill father. He was about to write a letter to the boys, but instead, he fogged up the window in their hideout and wrote, "We must survive." Namjoon left without saying anything to the boys.
Is it weird, but that's actually probably a straight up RM thing to do, like real life RM. So I'm wondering how much of this they're like, all right, well, it seems like RM would probably do something like this. Here you go. You know what I mean? And also really quick too, them just meeting because like they were all late for school. All of them were late for school, and then they got a hideout and all that stuff from that. Is like kind of, I don't know, it's not even unrealistic. That's a very realistic thing to happen. Like me and Chris met over the most random grab ever. So there's so many things, you know, I don't know. Either
Jun
way,
lived in poverty. His family has been struggling to pay for the father's hospital bills. He would work 2 to 3 part-time jobs in order to pay for the bill and to make a living. The boys looked up to Namjoon because of how responsible he was, but he felt pressured. They'd say how they wanted to be an adult like him, but little did they know how he felt. Taehyung looked up to Namjoon a lot. When he was young, his mother left him and his older sister behind. Both him and his sister grew up getting abused by their alcoholic father. Since Taehyung doesn't open up about his feelings and hardships, the boys don't really know what he's going through. June 11, year 20. Seokjin was forced by the principal to reveal their hideout. The principal threatened to tell Seokjin's father about how he was a bad student. The dean walked into the hideout while Jungkook and Yoongi were playing the piano. He came up and slapped Jungkook.
Oh my god!
He became defensive and ended up pushing the dean. Because of this, Yoongi got expelled from school.
This is so like their personalities probably would do these things. I mean, like, and I heard too, so I don't know. Dude, how much is fact and fiction in this? I don't even know. Either way, is that not wild? Like, too, also with, like, Jin's dad. Isn't Jin's dad, like, some, like, I don't know. He's some important person in South Korea, I think. I'm not really sure. But then, also, couldn't you see, like, Suga would definitely push a dude. Doesn't matter if you're a principal or not. He's going to probably push you if you slapped his homie. So,
and Jungkook blamed himself for what happened.
Real.
Seokjin lived in a wealthy family. When his mother passed away, his father sent him to the US to live with his grandmothers. His father was an assemblyman who was always strict and cold towards him. Seokjin just wanted to make his family proud of him. September 15, year 20. Hoseok and Jimin were at the bus stop when Jimin ended up having a seizure.
Master Go, what up, dude?
He was brought to the hospital, and Hoseok tried to stay by his side, but Jimin's mother turned him away. When Hoseok was about 6 to 7 years old, his mother brought him to a carnival and gave him a chocolate bar. She told him to close his eyes, then count to 10. When he opened his eyes, she was gone.
That is so messed up.
She abandoned him, and he ended up living in an orphanage for 10 years. Through this event, Hoseok developed narcolepsy, or at least that's what he says. I have a theory that he has a disorder called Munchausen syndrome, which we see during his film For Mama. It's a mental disorder in which a person repeatedly and deliberately acts as if he or she has a physical or mental illness when he or she is not really sick.
Who would have seen, like, I love the fact that she freaking put that on there. Oh my god. Who would have even noticed that he wrote down Munchausen syndrome, which I think is, have I been saying it wrong my entire life? It's not Munchausen syndrome, but holy crap, that is wild that she picked that part up. And also so freaking messed up. Whenever I first watched, was it Spring Day? No, I can't remember which song it was. Maybe it was dang it, somebody help me out. Which one is it that there was the video where J-Hope's like laying in a room and there's all these candy bars just shooting through the door, and I was like, that doesn't seem that bad, and everybody was like, you don't know what his relationship with candy bars are. So I don't know. There are 3 different types of Munchausen? Really? Dude, I gotta look this up. I gotta find out what the 3 different types are, but that would make sense though. You're right on the pronunciation. Boss, freaking did it. Freaking did it. This syndrome in real life is pretty much disregarded now. Random. It was fake love. Thank you guys. Thank y'all very much. But yeah, I mean, like, so that it makes sense, but that is a horrible, horrible freaking starting story. Good God, man. It makes me feel so bad for him. And in that song, I think in Fake Love, I was bleeding the lines between like, is this their real story and the BU? And I'm glad a lot of y'all in there were like, hey, this is a lot of BU stuff, especially when dude stabbed somebody. I was like, Jesus, what is happening? Fake Love is a wild music video to get a baby army into. Like, if you don't know what's going on or that the BU is a thing and you just drop Fake Love on them, what? It's wild video, man. Very wild video. Beautiful video, but wild.
May 16, year 22, Hoseok admitted to Jimin that his narcolepsy was actually fake.
Oh, dang.
September 28, year 20. Jimin is still in the hospital and has been there for 2 years now.
Oh my
Today
God.
was a special day for him. He lied for the first time and told the doctors that he didn't remember a thing. When Jimin was about 8 years old, an incident at the flowering arboretum scarred him for life. After a school picnic, he began to walk home alone since his parents didn't show up to pick him up. It began to rain. So he ran into a storage building of the flowering arboretum. That's where he saw a little kid laying on the ground tied up in a room.
Wild. Oh my
He
God.
had bruises on his arms and legs and scars on his wrist from being tied up for too long.
Oh my God.
He witnessed the kid trying to fight back by using a box cutter, but a man unarmed the boy and slammed the door shut. Jimin heard the boy's screams turn into wailing
Oh my God.
and gradually subsided. Jimin was able to escape without being caught, but ever since this incident, he began to have seizures, and his parents would keep bringing him to the hospital. He transferred to 5 different schools because of this.
This is such a dark
We find out
story.
that the kid's last name is Choi, and he was about 5 years old at that time. The little boy was discovered near Hwayong Mountain on April 10, and he suffered from temporary amnesia. The police were looking for clues to conduct an investigation of the case, but it seemed like nothing was solved.
Oh my God.
This little kid is most likely the boy Seokjin tried to save on October 10, year 9. Men were trying to kidnap this kid for ransom because the father's company went bankrupt, but Seokjin helped him escape. He tried to hide this kid
This is a
in his
freaking
house,
dark
but
and
Seokjin's
wild story.
father
Holy
let the
crap.
men into the house to take the kid away. Now here's the thing, Seokjin's event happened in year 9 and Jimin's event happened in year 11. So I'm not sure if that kid was really kept for that long or what happened in between, but just make note of that.
I gotta stop this and just say a couple of things really quick. Like, first of all, yes, I just said this is a very dark story, and I think that sometimes for me, I've gotten caught up in like BTS and like just the positivity of them, and then a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of good K-dramas. People have been sending me K-dramas, and I'm like, oh yeah, like getting into all these K-dramas and stuff, but I forgot where my first love of Korean entertainment started, and that is Old Boy, or I Saw the Devil. And my God, they're capable of writing some really wild, freaking dark, awesome, crazy, wild, amazing stories. So that's why I'm kind of getting at here. Like, it is, I think, like, you know, I love the Love Yourself and everything that's amazing and positive that comes from BTS and stuff. And then this is so dark, and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? But dude, like, Korean like dramas, actually there are some really dark ones and really freaking cool ones. So like, yeah, if you're into this part of the BU right here, definitely check out like I Saw the Devil, which is a very amazing movie, but it's very dark as well too. Old Boy, there are so many, oh God, Korean movies. That was my first dip into like the Korean culture, was like Korean, not necessarily horror movies, though I'd say I Saw the Devil was, but like action movies and stuff as well too, you know. But either way, yeah, very much so. That kind of reminds me a lot, finding the light in the darkness themes for sure. I like that though. That's very cool. This has begun. I'm here for it. Everybody, what's up, Phoenix Flame? How you doing?
September 30, year 20.
Okay,
Jungkook
year
would go
20.
to their secret hideout every day in hopes of one day seeing them all gathered together again. In the end, they didn't. It was just Hoseok and Jungkook.
Aw.
Jungkook relied on the boys a lot. His father left when he was 7, so he lived with his mother, stepfather, and stepbrother. He'd get abused by his stepbrother while his stepfather and mother watched and did nothing. So his family were the boys, who were now falling apart. He
man.
was very close to Yoongi, and he'd always be listening to Yoongi play the piano at their secret hideout.
Very excited
Yoongi
about
has
this
always
K-drama.
loved making music,
Heck yeah.
but when he was 15 years old, his house caught on fire with his mother still inside. She passed away, and she was the reason why Yoongi started playing the piano.
Oh my god.
Him and his father don't have a good relationship, and it seemed as if his father didn't want him to continue making music. Theory: Yoongi's mom was the one who started the fire to commit suicide. She supposedly went insane and was also a pianist.
Oh my god.
Now
That
the
scene
story
is
goes
beautiful,
on.
by the way.
Namjoon
of like
left for the
fire and
countryside
him
without
just chilling
telling
there.
anyone, but comes back after over a year and lives in a container. Seokjin transferred to a school in Los Angeles without a word.
Oh my god.
Taehyung's whereabouts were always unknown. Yoongi never showed up after being expelled.
Do you want to watch
from
that trailer
school.
after this?
Jimin never came back to school after going to the hospital. Hoseok was now working a part-time job at a burger joint called 2-Star Burger, and he would sometimes
Delish.
see Jungkook in his school uniform. April 11, year 22. Seokjin finally came back to Korea after 2 years and 10 months. He drove to a gas station and spotted Namjoon working there. He decided not to say hi and ended up driving away.
Oh my god.
May 22, year 22. Seokjin begins to wonder what the other boys were doing now. He decides to go back to the gas station to visit Namjoon, but when he gets there, he finds out Namjoon ended up going to jail. He got his phone number and went to visit him. Namjoon revealed that he got into jail after getting into a fight with a customer. Hoseok was in the hospital after a bad accident. They didn't know where Taehyung and Jimin were, and that both Jungkook and Yoongi were dead.
What in the heck?
When Seokjin
What?
was heading out of the police office, he saw Taehyung outside of the entrance. He was tied up and convicted of murder. Seokjin went back to the beach they visited back in high school and asked himself, where did it all go wrong? Then a voice spoke to him. If you could turn back time, do you believe you can straighten out the errors and mistakes and save everyone?
Dude.
He woke up and it was April 11 again. He thought it was all a dream and continued his day like nothing happened. He went to the gas station and saw Namjoon, then again decided not to say hi. He began to drive through an alley when a body landed on the hood of his car. He realized it was Jungkook.
What in the heck is with this freaking story, dude? Oh my god. Oh my freaking god. What?
Heart began to beat fast and everything shattered like a mirror. It was
Say,
April
my friend.
11
Jeez,
again.
Crazy grandma.
So he
freaking
kept
2.5
thinking everything
brothers.
was a dream, and so the same things would happen again. He went to the gas station and didn't say hi to Namjoon, and this time he's walking down the alley, and then Jungkook's body dropped behind him.
Jesus.
Everything shattered, and a voice spoke to him once again. You won't make it out here alone in this entangled destiny.
Real talk, if this was happening to you and you keep waking up and the same thing's happening every day, and in fact, like a super traumatic thing's happening every day, how long would it take you before you're like, okay, I'm stuck in a time loop. I've seen Groundhog's Day, also that movie Happy Death Day, then freaking the BU. How many times do you have to repeat the day before you're like, I'm gonna fix everything this first time? First day, dude. First day. All right. After the crazy shit happens the first time, after that, I'm like, I wake up, it's the 11th again. I'm like, what? And it might take me a couple of hours, but I am fixing everything. If I see Namjoon again, I'm going to be like, dude, what happened? I've missed you so much or something. You know what I mean? What?
Here's
One
how
day.
you remember the loop.
One half of a day.
And
There you
as
go.
the voice spoke to him, he began to see fragments of the
Oh my
previous
God.
timelines. Then another voice spoke. If you could turn back time, do you believe you could straighten out the errors and mistakes and save everyone?
Yeah.
That's when Seokjin finally realized that he's been going back in time. Okay, now things get super complicated during this journey. he begins to find out how each of the boys get in trouble.
I'd be under my covers
and how they die, but
sure.
every time he travels back in time, things would change. Because of the butterfly effect, location and time would sometimes change. Reminder that butterfly effect is a part of the chaos theory that states that one small change in a situation can drastically change the outcome of an event.
What?
At this point, we don't know how many times Seokjin had traveled back in time, but he began to realize that he has to learn more about the boys and their struggles in order to help them. He also realizes that he needs the boys to help him, but he does this indirectly. If you want all of the details, I do recommend you starting with the Save Me webtoon and then continue by playing the BTS Universe story game. I did create a summary for the game if you'd like to check that out.
Probably gonna have to watch that actually.
But I'll be going over each character's tragedies, which is shown during their Save Me webtoon, their reason, which is found in the BTS Universe story game, and the solution, which is found during the Notes 1 and 2 book.
Does Save Me not now have this wild, massive, different meaning whenever you know of the BU? Does Save Me not have this crazy thing now where it's like any of the other members are asking Jin, save him from that situation? It's such a different meaning now. My God.
On April 11, year 22, Namjoon gets into a fight with a customer at the gas station. The customer would get his gas filled, then drop the cash on the ground for Namjoon to pick up. This would cause a fight, and Namjoon would end up in jail. Reason: money has always been a constant source of frustration and misery for Namjoon. He has been working 2 to 3 part-time jobs to pay for his ill father's hospital bills. Because of this, he lived in a container and would sometimes sleep at the gas station's break room. He had to put his love for books aside and hold off on purchases because of his budget. That's why he couldn't stomach kneeling down to pick up the money and being insulted over it. Solution: Seokjin lets the whole scene with the rude customer play out, but as soon as the customer drops the money for Namjoon to pick up, Seokjin comes in and grabs it, then hands it to the customer. This saved Namjoon from getting into a fight and going to jail. Later that night, April 11, year 22, Jungkook would purposely get into fights with thugs on the street, then make his way to the top of a construction building to jump off. Reason: the boys were his family, and he was no longer in contact with them. He felt like his family didn't care about him and that no one cared about him. Solution: after Seokjin saved Namjoon at the gas station, Namjoon invited him to meet up with Taehyung and Hoseok after work.
Oh, that's cool.
Seokjin asked about the others, and Namjoon said he didn't really talk to the others anymore, but he does think Hoseok still talked to Yoongi. Seokjin would encourage Namjoon to call Hoseok, and this would cause a domino effect. Namjoon would call Hoseok asking him to invite Yoongi, then Yoongi calls Jungkook before he decides to jump off the construction building. May 2, year 22.
Okay, before we get into this tragedy, I just feel like, first I'd like to say, so a lot of people still glitching said, if you go back to the BU related, see things that you missed that you didn't get before. I cannot wait to actually go back through now and be like, all right, this is all BU. But then also just said, unfortunately, BTS Universe story game is taken down by the company. So I did hear that was the case, but does anybody know if there's, like, a lot of the times people, especially like me, before I started doing reactions and stuff, all I was doing was playthroughs and stuff like that of video games. Does anybody know if the story of the whole video game somewhere is like played through anywhere? I don't know. That might be something to look up on YouTube. We might be able to find it. But we're going to be going through the BU, and I'm very interested in seeing how visually we're actually going to be able to make it all make sense. But this is a really cool guide. And now I'm not even ready for this next tragedy. How are you going to do this to us? This is so like, oh God.
Yoongi burns himself in either a motel or his workroom. He also tries on April 29 and May 10 during different timelines because of the butterfly effect. Reason:
how did no one warn me? This is so sad.
Bad things would happen to people he cared about. This caused him to distance himself from the boys, especially Jungkook. Solution. Seokjin realized the last time Yoongi genuinely smiled was when all 7 of the boys were together. He also realized that both Yoongi and Jungkook had the same tinge of desperation in their eyes. Jungkook was the key to saving Yoongi. So this time, instead of Seokjin doing it himself, he had Jungkook visit Yoongi at his workroom. This would cause Yoongi to run away and go into the motel. Jungkook would then try to run after him and follow him. Seokjin left a clue in front of the motel Yoongi was in so Jungkook could find him. And that's how Jungkook ends up saving Yoongi from the fire.
Oh my god.
May 12, year 22. Jimin drowns himself in the bathtub at the hospital. If he didn't take his life while he was in the surgical ward, he would make the same choice days after he returned to the closed ward. Reason. Jimin believes that he belongs in the hospital. This was his way of running away from the past incident he witnessed at the Flower Laboratorium. He didn't want to make things any more difficult for his mother than they already were. So that's why he took his life.
Crazy old grandma, I hope you have a blessed night. I'm so sorry. I had no idea that this was going to be like as sad and tragic. I had no idea. Normally Sundays are like, what up everybody? And wild. But this is a very deep and tragic story. But I can't wait. Like literally, I tell this to my daughters whenever they're watching a Disney movie or something like that has got them just crushed. And they're just like, oh, why would you make a movie like this? I'm like, hold on. It's going to get better. Sometimes you got to tear something down before you can build it back up and make it even better, you know? So let's get the hero story. I know it might be like horrible at first, but let's get the good parts. We're going to get to the good. It'll happen.
Solution. Seokjin had tried to convince Jimin to leave and also had Taehyung try, but it didn't work. Hoseok is supposed to be the one who could convince Jimin to leave the hospital. May 10, year 22. Hoseok falls and hits his head while walking on a bridge. He ended up in the hospital for a checkup. May 12, year 22. Hoseok accidentally falls down the stairs at the hospital and breaks his ankle. Reason. Hoseok gets a call from the children's home, which is his orphanage, in regards to Kim Jung-hee, the staff who was like a mother to him. She has colon cancer, and because it was in its late stage, surgery had a low chance of success. After finding out this news on May 10, he would collapse on the bridge. As for the accident at the hospital, Hoseok would notice a woman with a long skirt, hat pressed low, with a child. He thought it was his mother, so he followed her down the stairs and ended up falling. Solution. Seokjin figured out that Jimin was the solution to saving Hoseok. Hoseok actually ended up in the same hospital Jimin was at. And while Jimin was waiting for an elevator at the hospital, Seokjin called out his name and led him over to the staircase. Jimin saw Hoseok running down the stairs and was able to catch him before he fell.
Heck yes. Thank you so much.
After Hoseok was released from the hospital, he came back with the others. They all worked together to help Jimin and encouraged him to leave the hospital.
Aww.
May 20,
these videos make
22.
So much more sense. That's so cool.
Taehyung would come home to his alcoholic father abusing his older sister. This caused him to grab a bottle, break it open, then stab his father to death.
Broke it over his
This
face,
led up to him going
dude.
to jail. If he didn't end up in jail, he ended up jumping off the viewing platform by the ocean in front of the boys in a different timeline. Reason.
Did I misinterpret whenever he jumped off that thing as like, I thought, oh, dude, yes. Like, you know, I don't know. I mean, we would like, whenever I was growing up, we'd like, there were bridges and stuff because I grew up on like a river town. And so there were bridges that went over the river. We like jump off the bridges and like in a fun way, like just see who could jump off into the water in a good way. You know what I mean? And so I think I might have completely misinterpreted that one scene right there. That is wild. My God. Okay. And then also too, I will say, I guess that was Fake Love, I believe, that he freaking stabbed his stepfather to death. That was the first time that I ever had like a BU moment where I was like, wait, what? What is happening right now? First time. Chattanooga? Yeah, dude. So yeah, now everything's sadder and yet redeeming. I thought the same thing. Ever Optimist, right? Yeah. I think the resolution of him jumping is open to interpretation. Yeah. That's still wild, though. That's wild to know that could even be, even in a little bit of like a dark way. My God.
Taehyung and his sister have been dealing with their alcoholic father for years.
Thank you, Jackie.
And Taehyung was fed up with the violence.
Thank y'all.
As for him jumping off the platform, this happened during a timeline when they stopped him from murdering his father. He was frightened that he would become just like his father because of the recent incident. Solution. Seokjin had personally tried to stop Taehyung but ended up accidentally getting stabbed. So this time around, he had Hosuk give it a try. Hosuk was able to catch Taehyung just in time and stopped him from stabbing his father. As for Taehyung jumping off the platform, Seokjin went up the platform
For
instead.
real though, dude. BU is blowing my mind right now. So
here we are, May 22, year 22. Seokjin finally saved everyone. They were all gathered
right now.
at the
That's
beach
such a cool
together
story.
once again.
Well, sad.
After the sunset, they went back to the place they were staying at and started dancing, laughing, and having fun. Seokjin thought this was a good time to finally confess to the boys. Taehyung thought he was going to tell everyone about what was really going on. A couple days before their beach trip, Taehyung asked Seokjin about the dreams he had been having. He has been having dreams of the past timelines. Seokjin said he didn't know anything, but Taehyung knew he was lying. So when Seokjin started confessing, and it was actually about the time he snitched on them during high school and how Yoongi got expelled, that made Taehyung angry because he thought Seokjin was just being a coward and not admitting to the dreams and stuff. Taehyung then shouts out, "What's so great about being together? Who are we to one another? We're all alone in the end." That's when Seokjin punched Taehyung and they broke out in a fight because, you know, his repeated attempts, his countless tries to save his friends, he repeated so many moments of suffering for them. So, you know, he's asking, why are you doing this to me? After that event, they all went their separate ways and didn't contact each other much. Seokjin must have gone back again, but in another timeline, Seokjin leaves before all of this happens. Later that night, Jungkook got hit by a car.
Oh my God.
But not just any car. Jungkook believes it was Seokjin who hit him, but the odd thing is, Seokjin doesn't remember doing that at all. And we'll get...
I just gotta say, like, this is some freaking deep storylines, man. And somebody Quincy said, imagine any Western artist putting this much backstory into their music. Right? I honestly can't think of anybody, and anybody that even comes close to it, I'm like, oh my God, that, like, now you don't even have to try that much in the West. It's like if you have like two songs that connect to each other, we're like, freaking Picasso in music form. It's like amazing. But this is insane. This is wildly, like, there's so much stuff going on. But this makes me think too, I recently watched this show. It's called Burn the House Down, and there's so much to that, and I don't really want to give it away, but that's very like their story, like where normally in Western media you would have this like resolution. The ending of our Western stories normally would been whenever Jin gets them all back together. Boom, we're all hanging out and we're happy now. You know what I mean? And like that's the ending of it. That's where Western culture would be like, you got that ending you were wanting, buddy. Let's put it on the table and you're done with it. And then like here, like Korean culture is like, well, wait a second. Turns out it's all going to hit the fan again. And you haven't learned the real lesson yet. We're about to do it. So sit back and freaking buckle up for 8 more hour-long episodes. You're about to get a whole story. You know, I don't know. I've seen that now with so many different stories, man. And I'm like, what? it's that the mentality that I heard recently was like the whole planting seed for trees of shade you will never live to see. It's kind of like that. It like long term, you're wanting results in the long term, more of a payoff in the long term than like that instant gratification that we're used to over here in Western culture. So that's where I guess I'm kind of getting at. But it is wild that story just was like, everything was resolved. Not what? Yeah, folks be spreading all the lore about Taylor Swift's scarf here when we get murder and time travel, right? I mean, Sleep Token has like lore, but nothing like the BU. That is the coolest I could come up with off the dome. Yeah, Sleep Token definitely has some lore, but again, it's kind of like obscure, and I think the fans are probably putting more together than Sleep Token actually. They're like, all right, we're worshiping the god of sleep. And they're like, well, and then it's also maybe, I don't know. You know what I mean? I wonder how much they're actually putting into it and how much the fans are, because I'm agreeing with you. I love Sleep Token, and I definitely go into that. But I wonder how much they're putting in versus like how much we're getting, you know? Either way. Oh, dude, thank you for the freaking sub. Yusugi-san, thank you so much for the freaking sub. Either way, let's freaking go, man. I just had to pause and say that, like, right where Western culture would have ended it, they were like, we're not even halfway done probably.
Get to that in a little bit. This is when the highlight reels come in. So after they've gone their separate ways and they didn't really contact each other much, we're gonna touch base on each character. Hoseok was the first person who heard about Jungkook's accident. He was working at the burger joint when Jungkook's classmates came in and talked about the car accident. Hoseok and Jimin came to visit him after he was unconscious for 10 days.
Oh my god.
They were upset that Jungkook didn't contact them immediately. Jungkook ends up meeting a girl at the hospital who helped him stay positive during his recovery.
What was this part from? The highlights?
Was making music again with the help of a girl who played the guitar. She was giving him free solo performances at schools and hospitals. Ever since he got addicted to his
Alicia,
work again,
thank you for doing it with us. Thank you for watching this with us.
He didn't answer calls or checked his messages. He finally charged his phone, then it rang. It was a phone call from Jimin telling him about Jungkook's car accident that happened the night they came back from the beach. Yoongi made it to the hospital but couldn't bring himself to go in. He felt like it was his fault that Jungkook got hurt. Jungkook went outside with the girl he met at the hospital. They were sitting on a bench while he began to sketch. Then he heard a familiar song. It was a song Yoongi would play during high school. He looked over and it was the girl with the guitar. He got closer and noticed the lighter hanging on her guitar with the initials YK. It was Yoongi's initials.
What?
Taehyung is now all alone, but then he catches a girl stealing at a convenience store. They run into each other a couple more times and ended up basically becoming friends. They spent about a month together until one day, they were spraying graffiti at the bus stop Namjoon usually stops at. The cops began to chase them until they were cornered. Taehyung ended up surrendering, but after being released from jail, the girl was nowhere to be found.
Have a blessed one, Jake. Thanks for hanging with me, dude.
Jimin
Have a blessed one, man.
Going back
Have a great
home
stream.
After they returned from the beach. After he ran away from the hospital, he has been living with Hoseok, but now it's time to go back home. His mother forced him to join an academy. And he was finally able to join Hoseok's dance class called Just Dance.
Movies?
During dance practice, Jimin and Hoseok's friend collided. Instead of him reacting to the girl getting hurt, he ends up running into the bathroom to wash the blood off his arm in a panic.
Oh god.
This reminded him of what he did at the Flower Laboratorium, where he would run away. As soon as he realized what happened, he ran after Hoseok and the girl with an umbrella to help out, but stopped and turned back. Hoseok carried the girl in the rain to the hospital. In the process, he hurts his ankle. They made it and the doctor told him she had a mild concussion. Hoseok discovers a plane ticket to the US in her backpack. He realized that she passed the overseas dance team audition. She became conscious and was ready to go home. When they got to the entrance, she was about to tell him about her going to the US, but instead, Hoseok avoided it and made an excuse to get an umbrella. He just didn't want to hear about her leaving.
Aw.
Namjoon becomes interested in a girl he's been seeing every day for about a month. They would take the same bus to study in the same library before he'd go to work at night.
I can see him doing this in real life.
He never spoke a word to her, though, but began to wonder what she does and what kind of things she's enduring.
Aw.
It's probably because she reminded him of himself. He finally got the courage to buy her a hair tie, but ended up leaving it on her backpack when she was asleep.
Aw.
Eventually, each of the boys begin to rediscover themselves and realize they want to become a better person. Taehyung no longer wanted to be the same and wanted to protect his sister and his father, his family. Hoseok decided to leave town and was gone for a while to heal his injured foot, since he couldn't dance. During that time, he helped out a performance group and even toured with them for a little.
This is so in-depth. And there's like, so this right here was from the highlights, and where was that even at? And I guess also, another question, did this actually like, I don't know, promote their music in some way or another? Or is this like all promotion for the BU? Which is so freaking cool if that's the case.
They asked him to officially join their group, but he realized he needed to go back home. He didn't want to run away anymore. He comes back to finally congratulate his friend for going overseas. Yoongi lost the guitar girl, but even though he gave up on his music countless of times, he'd always start music again, and he didn't want to run away from it anymore. Jimin continued to dance and would practice by himself every night. He wanted to commit to something and prove that he was good at it. Namjoon thought back to his high school years. Everything he had given up on, he wanted to start again. Jungkook was the only one who seemed to be
Films
off,
on YouTube, haven't watched
especially
them all yet.
after the car accident. He was trying to figure out what happened that night. Now, all of the boys planned on meeting up for the yearly fireworks on August 30, year 22. It was actually Hoseok's idea to get everyone together, and after he returned from taking a break, their group chat started buzzing again.
Aw.
Now there's Seokjin. In July, Seokjin saw a girl drop her diary while crossing the
I remember
railroad
watching
tracks.
this.
In
This
that
is a
diary
fan
was
video,
her
I think?
wish list of things to do. He ends up meeting up with her and doing everything she's been wanting.
dang.
But he never told her that he had her diary. One of the things on her wish list was Smeraldo flowers. Seokjin was able to find a shop who could order those, but they wouldn't be able to get a hold of it until August 30. Seokjin was thinking of confessing his love for her with the flowers while the fireworks bursted in the sky.
Aw.
But that didn't happen. Seokjin was able to receive the bouquet of Smeraldo flowers from the delivery truck. He discovered there was no card in the bouquet and immediately called the owner. I'll make a U-turn now, the light just changed. Before the owner finished his sentence, the girl came into view.
Don't do it.
And began to walk towards him across the road, then
Don't do it.
bam! She got hit by the truck.
Good God.
He travels back to save her, which he thought was pretty easy to solve, but would encounter another tragic event with Namjoon on September 30, year 22. Namjoon would end up passing away during a fire inside his container home. Seokjin couldn't figure out how to save him. Each time the loop began, the relationship between him and the girl deteriorated.
Not a
They
fan
always
video. Oh,
did
that's
what
awesome,
her diary
though. Thank you for letting
said,
me
but
know.
each loop she grew more distant. She asked him for a breakup because Seokjin was becoming strange and that she didn't know him anymore. He then stopped getting involved with the girl. He ends up giving back
It's
her
always a buzz
diary
for
and
real, though.
apologizing. The diary acted as a starting and stopping point for them.
Aw.
He tried to become someone else by following everything that diary had, but realized that only being true to himself, he can continue to move forward.
Epiphany?
From this point on, I'm gonna be
Epiphany?
honest,
What?
guys, it gets confusing even
There's
for
a lot of
me.
info for notes.
A lot more time travels happened, But for this video, I'll try to make it easier to understand and simplify the timeline.
I'd like to just go in and say thank you, XLS, because this is freaking wild that you composed this whole thing together. And there are like true stories of bands that have been formed that I'm like, I don't actually know how I would timeline all these things. How am I going to get all this information? And she has compiled this and done a great freaking job explaining it. It's all making sense. It's all like blowing my mind at the moment. She's done a great job with this. I'd just like to say thank you, XLS, for freaking doing this. You boss. This is amazing.
Now, the fire at Namjoon's place was caused by goons who came to kick everyone out from the container neighborhood. There was a redevelopment plan established, and it would demolish the container neighborhood along with Hosok's orphanage.
Oh, dang.
Seokjin's father was actually part of this plan, along with his father's right-hand man named Uncle Junho. No matter what Seokjin did, he couldn't get past September 30, so he made a deal with the cat. He asked the cat how to save Namjoon, and the cat said, "Find the map of the soul. Then you'll be able to end all of this. Instead, there will be a price."
What?
We find out later that the price was him losing his memories. And whenever he would try to remember, or if he was in a familiar place, he would get major headaches. Because of this, he was beginning to forget why he was doing all of this in the first place and was losing himself. So now he's on a search for the map of the soul.
Oh my God.
At first, he thought it was in the form of a book and started looking through libraries and bookstores. At one point, he asked Namjoon about it. And of course, Namjoon didn't know. Jimin also overheard Seokjin asking a doctor at the hospital about the map of the soul. Seokjin was actually there to get checkups for his major headaches. But of course, they couldn't figure out why he was getting those headaches. Jimin texted the group asking, "Do you know what the map of the soul is?" Namjoon mentioned that Seokjin also asked him the same thing a couple days ago. So now the rest of the boys decided to try and figure out what is going on with Seokjin. But they left Jungkook out of this group chat since he was still sick and he was in the hospital, and they just wanted him to get better. At the same time, Taehyung had also been trying to put the pieces together from his dreams. Remember that he's been having dreams of past timelines, and at this point, I feel like he knows what's really going on. So he realized that Seokjin needed their help but wasn't asking for it. Now the boys begin their search for this map of the soul. July 10, year 22. Taehyung told Namjoon about his dreams and that they were somehow linked to reality. One of the dreams was the fire incident at Namjoon's container. It then switched to Seokjin in the middle of a meeting room inside a tall building looking out the window. From his view, across the stream were apartment buildings in Myeonhyun City. He saw a billboard for canned coffee on a building rooftop, and behind it was a commercial building with a four-leaf clover logo displayed on the second floor. Seokjin phoned someone and said a word or two, then hung up. A moment later, lights turned off in every building. Seokjin smiled. Now, Taehyung and Namjoon go searching for this location for days. During this time, there had been a typhoon as well. After so many days, they realized they couldn't find it because the billboard had not changed yet. So on July 18, the energy drink was replaced with the canned coffee billboard. They found the office of National Assemblyman Kim Chang-jun. It was Seokjin's father.
What?
They snuck into the conference room and Taehyung snatched the Seongju City redevelopment plan off a printer. They were able to make it out but got caught and were brought to the police station.
No.
Namjoon tried dumping the papers at the police station but later found out reporters had gotten a hold of the documents. It was then revealed on the news, and the documents caused panic amongst Hosok's orphanage and revealed police overlooking the would-be violence during this redevelopment.
Ah!
July 22, year 22. Jimin remembered a man locked up in the ward at the hospital named Woo Hyun-sung. The man kept saying the map of the soul was wrecked. Yoongi and Jimin went to the hospital to see this man. When the man was asked about the map of the soul, his eyes shone with rage and he screamed convulsively.
I just want to say, like, there's a lot of stuff I really want to talk here, but I also am so completely wrapped up in this story at this point. I'm like, dude, it's going to come full circle. Everyone in BTS, like Jin's been like this rock and everybody's like, he's trying to save everybody, trying to put everybody back together, but he's doing it by himself and he felt like he fixed it all, but then it really just ruined, and it turns out they all need each other to save each other, and doesn't need to just be one of them's gonna save you. Like, there's no main character here. They're all the main character and they all need to be equally like working on this together, and it's showing teamwork and all these different things, and they're bringing in the map of the soul in here. There's like so many connecting things. The story is beautiful, but my God. So if there's parts where I'm like, dude, I want to pause it and talk, or if there's moments where you're just like, he's just staring off into space, what is he watching? This story is wild, and it's so good actually too. Like, I'm not just saying this, like, this is a freaking beautiful freaking story, and I just want to say that this is an awesome story, and I'm like completely caught up in it now. So
Because of him, my soul was wrecked. Him. The man he was pointing to was Kim Chang-jun on TV, which was Seokjin's father. They were thinking there was no way Seokjin's father was somehow involved, but Jimin said the man mentioned something like Giho, and like Giho was missing. Jimin mentioned that he heard Woo Hyun-sung was admitted when he was in high school. As Jimin and Yoongi were heading out from the hospital, Jimin's phone went off and it was Jungkook calling. Yoongi shook his head. We keep this between us, away from Jungkook.
It's gonna bite him.
He has to focus on getting better. We can tell him when it's over.
It's gonna come back and bite him,
Little did they
dude.
know, Jungkook actually saw them leaving the hospital, which is why he called
God.
Jimin. And Jimin lied to him by saying he was on his way home from Hagwon. Now, while all this is happening and the other boys are looking for the map of the soul, Jungkook had been going over the scenes of the car accident that night. Police had shown him the surveillance camera of the accident. He realized it was Seokjin's car.
Oh!
But Jungkook lied and said he doesn't remember anything.
I'm going to say this really quick. Just a little fan prediction moment here. I don't think that it was Jin. I think it was Jin's douche freaking fictional father here, because clearly that guy is the arch rival and nemesis of this entire story. Clearly it's Jin's dad, I think, borrowed the truck and he was like, you're connected to it all. I'm going to freaking run you over, dude.
At one point, he even asked Hoseok about Seokjin, but Hoseok looked flustered.
Jin wouldn't do that.
And
that would
made
not be a
Jungkook
Jin thing.
Think that Hoseok knew something about Seokjin being involved in the car accident, but it was actually because they were trying to keep him out of the loop with the whole map of the soul so he can recover. So it wasn't because of them knowing about the car accident, you know. So over time, Jungkook began to believe the boys knew about this accident but were hiding it from him. Now that the city knew about the redevelopment, the plan for it sped up. Namjoon's boss at the gas station talked about one of Seokjin's father's high school friends who went missing and was never found. Jimin found a blog uploaded 10 years ago titled "The Missing Student from Songju Jail High School." Was Principal Jo Jin-myung involved? No comment was his answer.
Oh God.
Taehyung also asked his uncle about Seokjin's father, since they were about the same age. He found out that Seokjin's father, Kim Chang-jun, went crazy when his friend went missing. One day, Chang-jun was found collapsed in the music room in the annex, and that was it. He stopped looking for his missing friend. Chang-jun completely changed after that and had no feelings. Taehyung asked, which one is the annex building? The uncle mentioned that back in the old day, They also used the small building on the left-hand side of the gate. The music room was inside the one-story building. This was the same room the boys made into their secret hideout.
What?
Taehyung messaged his new findings in the group chat, saying, "And you know our classroom? It used to be a music room 30 years ago, and something must have happened to Seokjin's father in that room."
Oh my
Jimin told the group
God.
chat about the principal, Jo Jin-myung. He thinks he was involved in the case of the missing student, and that he went to school the same time as Seokjin's father. Namjoon went to the Songji City Library to find old newspapers.
This is freaking wild.
The missing student's name was Choi Gyu-ho. The article had an interview with his mother. It said that he left home saying he was going to see a friend. She asked him which friend and why so late, and he said he had to see his friend at school. He definitely looked scared, and she didn't know why she didn't stop him.
Oh God.
Below the article was the missing student's picture, name, and description of what he was wearing. He was a senior in Songju Jae-il High School. They began searching the classroom, and Jimin pointed on the scribbles. Among so many scribbles were several names.
Oh, that's
They
cool.
read Kim Chang-jun. Jimin pointed to another name, Woo Hyun-sung, the guy at the psychiatric ward. I can't
Oh.
recognize the other names. Yoongi pointed to another name, Choi Gyu-ho, the guy who went missing, right? Namjoon read a sentence below the names. Everything started from here. So Kim Chang-jun is Seokjin's father, Woo Hyun-sung is the guy at the psychiatric ward, Choi Gyu-ho is the friend that went missing. Now, they didn't mention or point out the name Jo Jin-myung, who was the principal, but they mentioned that he also went to the same school and that he might have been involved in the case because of the past article. So I don't know if the principal used to be part of that friends thing who also went to the music room, but something happened and he was probably involved.
They keep going back to this thing that says blacklist, and it's got their names on it. Like, does anybody know, was that actually a part of this show as well too, or is that like some B stock that she's using here for the principal? But I wonder, like, you know what I mean? How, the principal obviously knew some kind of significance was going on in that old music room, and the boys there. What does he know?
July 24, year 22. 2 weeks ago, they decided to throw Jungkook a party to celebrate him being discharged from the hospital, but they completely forgot about it. So many things have happened since then, and they all ended up showing up late. Hosuk was the last to make it since he had been protesting and fighting in front of the city hall in order to stop the redevelopment. As soon as he arrived to the party, he went straight for Seokjin and asked him to take Yangji Children's Home out of the redevelopment plan.
Oh God.
Seokjin listened without moving a muscle and said, "It's grown-up business." Seokjin scowled and rubbed his temples. He pushed his hand against the wall and stood up. So from the scene, you know he's getting his major headache again. Then he says, "Until when do I have to look after you guys? Can you please learn to do things by yourself?"
Oh God.
And Seokjin banged open the door and left.
So he's
Jungkook
like
watched
lost his
Seokjin
memories
get
at this
into
point
his
too,
truck
right?
and back away. He saw the scratch on his bumper and strangely didn't feel anything.
What?
Everything became abundantly clear. So at this point, Seokjin is so frustrated, he's fed up, he's lost himself, he doesn't remember why he's even doing all of this in the first place. Seokjin thought that it was a waste of time to attend Jungkook's party instead of going to another redevelopment meeting. He went there in the first place thinking that they were going to talk about the map of the soul, but instead, Hosuk begged him to save the orphanage. We know that Seokjin is going through it and he's no longer himself. At this point, he was no longer trying to save the boys for their sake. He just wanted to find the map of the soul to end the constant loop and basically save himself. But we know he was going through it, so you can't blame Seokjin. August 2,
Good
year
God.
22. Seokjin came back to a note on his desk saying, "A draft of your father's memoir. You're in it too, so some feedback would be appreciated." The note was from Uncle Junho, which was his father's right-hand man. It was his first time being asked to read it in this loop.
I guess, like, for me really quick, just to kind of, I guess, not defend him, but just say, like, why I think that Jin did that or whatever is because, like, first of all, I think him losing his memories of them younger and, like, all the things, the good things that they had gone through or whatever, and him trying to stop these loops and stuff like that and going back in time so much, it might have made it to where it's like he's just struggling and he's forgot all the good stuff. So it's almost like, I don't know, holding on to a relationship, but you forgot all the good things that got you into that relationship or whatever. And so that's kind of maybe where he's at with it. But my God, man, this is wild. This is a freaking
might have been a butterfly
story.
effect from having gone to Jungkook's party instead of the meeting. The wind from the window ended up blowing the papers on the floor. As he began to pick it up, his eyes landed on something interesting. 10 pages were missing, and he flipped to the table of contents, and there he saw the map of the soul.
What?
Although he was disappointed because the chapter that was titled Map of the Soul had nothing in it about what the title meant. But he saw the passage. When I thought about my high school days, I realized the map I've been looking for wasn't a real map with roads or dead ends, directions, and scales. It was just another name for the life I have lived, the countless hours I have lived since then, and the choices I have made. It'd be the trajectory of all my failures, success, mistakes, and blunders. But I failed to find the map. In retrospect, I realized that I landed on the right path because of my failures.
Oh, that was
Seokjin
great.
then remembered what Taehyung had told him.
That was beautiful.
You have lost your memories. Seokjin ran back into his room and pulled out a box from under the desk and found a couple of photo books and envelopes with Polaroid pictures. He began to look through the pictures and asked himself, did this really happen? When he tried to remember, the headache came back. He stood up and looked at the pile of pictures and gritted his teeth and tried to focus. Fighting against the pain, he tried to remember. Only when he was able to overcome the pain, he will be able to find the trajectory of his life and arrive at the map of the soul. Seokjin texted Taehyung the pictures and asked, did this really happen? Taehyung then texted the group asking, where is everyone? He wanted to gather everyone to help Seokjin remember. August 3, year 22. They brought Seokjin to the storage classroom to help bring back his memories,
Looking
but
dapper
he
as ever.
struggled with headaches. Out of frustration and just hurting from this headache, he tried to leave, but Taehyung stopped him. They broke out into a fight and knocked over a wall, revealing a cabinet. Inside the cabinet was a diary. This diary belonged to Seokjin's father.
What?
According to the diary, his father had gone through what was happening to him. Like him, he made mistakes and blundered, and he tried to undo them over and over again, but he failed. The diary was a record of his failures. After making the deal to save his friends, he was in a time loop.
This is freaking wild.
He tried to find the map of the soul, but failed and gave up. He forgot about it and went into denial and betrayed his friends.
And that's why he's a
Seokjin
horrible
looked
person
up
now.
at the wall and remembered seeing his father's name around there, and below it said everything started from here. Perhaps it was inevitable that they'd return to this place. Seokjin came back home and the pictures were still strewn on the floor. He still had a throbbing headache, but he knew that pain was the evidence that he was trying to remember what was important to him. Suddenly, people in the pictures seemed to be moving. All of the moments in the pictures were lifted up in the air and were replaying like videos.
Oh, that's freaking awesome.
The whole room shone bright with whirling memories that were sad, wistful, heartbreaking, and joyous. He then realized something was exuding light from his pocket. He took it out. It was a Polaroid picture with clear crumpled lines. He remembered the moment they took the picture. This was the first look ever for the six of them to be in the picture without him. Before then, he would use a timer. He looked down at the picture in his hand and the scene started to change slowly. There was Seokjin, standing next to his friends in front of the car by the beach. He suddenly remembered the cat and the contract they made. There will be a price to pay. He realized what kind of horrible contract he signed up for. Do you think he could straighten out the errors and mistakes and save all of you? He was finally able to answer the question. The question itself was wrong. He didn't have to save them. He didn't have to straighten out all of the errors and mistakes either. What he had to do was accept all of his errors and mistakes as part of him. The one and only person he couldn't save was himself. And he had to forgive, accept, and love himself.
Epiphany! What is happening? The BU! Good God! And I freaking told you, listen, like I was saying, we would have in the West ended the freaking story there. We would have ended it way back ago. Okay, like 20 minutes ago in the story, we would have already been like, all right, freaking put a bow on it, it's done, and everybody will love it because it's got a nice little happy ending. But this is like a freaking life-changing story ending. It's like we want to affect you at your core, and that's what we've got here.
That
oh my
was
God.
the only answer. He then realized all the pain had come to an end.
Son of a...
August 7, year 22. Seokjin went into the den and gave
Group
his father
IRL
the
hugs.
diary.
Let's get it.
His father took
this
the
is
diary
such a good
and flipped
story.
through the pages. Instantly, his face became distorted. A look of pain was on his face now. Seokjin asked his father about the redevelopment plan and to think about it one more time. His father said, "No, it has nothing to do with me now." August 10, year 22. Seokjin had gone through the documents found in the safe inside the inner room. Papers guaranteeing kickbacks from the construction company, slush funds, shabby construction, and profiteering, contract ad libitum, dual contracts, and also papers fabricated to conceal all these illegal dealings. His father had gotten to a place of no return. Seokjin took out his phone and called the reporter who had disclosed the first document concerning the redevelopment plan. Now he had to do what he had to do. Seokjin texted the boys to meet at Namjoon's container. August 11, year 22. They all arrived at the container and sat around the sofa. Seokjin started telling them about what happened back in high school. Seokjin apologized to Yoongi for getting him expelled. Then he began to tell everyone the whole story. Finding out the future misfortunes of everyone after he came back from America, the cat that he met at the beach, the contract to turn back time, and the things he had experienced over and over again since then. The map of the soul, the price to pay, losing his memories. They had no idea whether the sandstorm began while Seokjin was talking or not. As Seokjin continued with the story, the wind became stronger. Everyone ended up closing their eyes, shedding tears from the prickly rain of sand. They couldn't see with their eyes, but they could feel it. As if they experienced it themselves, something flashing as time began to go back, the sound of a window being shattered. In the sandstorm, they finally understood what happened to Seokjin. No one spoke. The sandstorm disappeared without a trace, and the moon hung in the night sky. Soon after Seokjin started telling them his story, all the others looked as if they totally understood what he was saying, except for Jungkook. He thought Seokjin was going to mention the car accident, but
it was not him, dude.
I mean, it remains a mystery until now.
No!
Jungkook believes Seokjin was the one who hit him, but Seokjin doesn't remember any of this. During the night of the accident, Seokjin had a major headache and had closed his eyes while he was driving. He then opened his eyes to a loud honking noise and saw headlights in front of him. As a reflex, he turned the wheel and skid against the asphalt. He stepped on the brake and the car crashed into the opposite guardrail and finally stopped. He opened the door and stepped out. The road was empty of cars. The car that was flashing its light was also gone. So we don't know the full story yet. Jungkook believes Seokjin is the one who hit him. But on Seokjin's side, he was probably going crazy. He thought he saw a car, but there was no car. Maybe the dent in front of his truck that Jungkook saw was actually a mark from the guardrail he hit and not him hitting a person. But when Jungkook saw the surveillance camera, he saw Seokjin's car. So I don't know. There's something missing. There's something else going on with that.
I like that she says there that she does not know in this, and I've got a prediction. I think that in the drama, I think that that's going to play a major part. Hopefully, we get an answer, because how can you leave this? How can you leave this part? I don't know, man.
We'll eventually find
Oh
out.
God, I really hope we
August
do.
20, year 22. They put a stop to the redevelopment plan and arrested the people involved in the corruption. His father was not an exception. Uncle Junho, which was the right-hand man, had disappeared right after news of his involvement went out. August 22, year 22. A drunk man harassed Namjoon when he came home from work. "Everything is ruined because of you," he said. "You talked Seokjin into this, didn't you? You ruined everything."
Oh God.
The drunk man kept babbling about things, but Namjoon couldn't understand. August 25, year 22. Seokjin went to Namjoon's container home and found Uncle Junho with a gasoline canister at his feet.
Oh God.
A fire erupted from the container. Not long after, Namjoon arrived and ran towards the burning container. He jumped over the flames and threw himself against the container door. The little kid, Woo Chang, was still inside.
Aww.
He had been taking care of this kid for a couple of months now, and so this kid was stuck inside a burning container. Just when they were about to escape through the door, construction materials ended up falling and blocking their way out. Namjoon turned and saw Seokjin through the window. They were able to pull open the window to rescue the kid and Namjoon.
Good. Okay,
August
good God.
30, year
Phew.
22. The boys were finally gathered once again for the annual firework festival.
Dude.
They watched the fireworks light up the sky and fall limply down back to the stream. Everyone seemed to be enjoying the show except for Jungkook, who was looking down at his phone and playing a shooting game. "Jungkook, come and see me at the workroom after school. Let's talk," Yoongi said. "If I get time," Jungkook spat out in response and started a new game. So at this point, Jungkook is just out of it. He feels like the boys are lying to him. He is so sure that Seokjin is lying to him as well, and it was the one who hit him with the truck. So it's not looking good.
Oh God.
There's this like burning, growing rage and anger inside of him that will be an issue. September 27, year 22. At today's court first hearing, Seokjin's father admitted to all charges and gave up his right to defend himself. As he was walking out of the courtroom, he turned and looked at Seokjin. He looked peaceful and calm,
Good.
a look that Seokjin had never seen before. And for a fleeting moment, there was a sense of lightheartedness in his expression. Seokjin was seeing that expression for the first time, but he knew that was his father's true face. He came home and ran to the living room. His father's diary from high school was on the desk.
Not to hit me with a car
He
again.
had
I might
written,
show up. Right?
"I found the map of the soul. Everything ends here and now."
Oh dang.
That was basically the end of the Notes 2 book. We did get an odd entry, but with no date. This was the last entry in the Notes book. The odd thing about this is that it's when Jungkook got into a car accident, which is supposed to be on May 22, year 22, and it's almost like the same entry, but this time the dates is all X's.
Oh dang.
Yeah. Now, during the time of the
That's
accident, Jungkook heard a voice say, "Living is going to be more painful than
No!
death, but do you still want to live?"
No!
It was the cat with blue and green eyes, the same cat that made the deal with Seokjin.
You
But
freaking cat!
unlike the first note that we got with a date, this one mentioned that Jungkook remembered hearing this from somewhere. So this wasn't the first time, and this has happened more than once.
Stay away from freaking cats, okay? Especially if they're heterochromium or whatever the name is for double colored eyes. Don't even talk to them, okay?
But that's all we've gotten so
Oh
far,
my
you
God!
guys. I hope you enjoyed
Oh!
this updated BTS storyline summary video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to click the like button and also join the Fleur Squad by subscribing, you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Listen, we got to hit the freaking like button on that. If you haven't yet, please go hit the like button on her channel, Celeste. That was amazing. Way to put that whole thing together. I've been kind of conflicted here. I was like, okay, first of all, I think probably it's Jin's dad is the ultimate bad guy in this. Probably not, man. He's actually just another person that has been affected by the freaking demon cat with the heterochromium. I think it's what it's called when you got two different color eyes. Cat. Don't freaking talk to cats, people, okay? No matter what, don't talk to cats. 2024, do not talk to cats. There's that... Either way, we can't, you will be upset. Okay, unless it's Yoongi. We have until 2025 to figure out who the cat is. But what I think is cool about that, though, again, is the depth of that story. Right where you would normally have like an ending, where it would have been like just a nice little wrapped up ending to this story. We didn't. It was actually not even halfway, man. No, we didn't enjoy it. Now life is pain and we need to finish it. I don't know why, some reason, like my, these freaking boxes, man. These freaking boxes aren't working. I don't know what's going on. But either way, chat is chatting. But yes, that was wild. I think that was probably, I don't know, man. Very beautiful story. And it's stuff like that that inspires me to do different things. Heterochromia. Heterochromia. There you go. Heterochromia. Thank you, Flowers. With words. If the BU has taught us anything, stay away from talking cats. BTS knew it. Very true, man. My cat is staring at me right now, said someone. That is hilarious. Sorry, but if a cat talks to me, I'm going to have a conversation with it, even if I know it shouldn't. I feel like it should be safe and fair to have a conversation with a talking cat. If a cat starts talking to me, I'm definitely probably, even though I've heeded you all with warnings, I'm probably still going to do it. It's easier said than done. So I can say it all day long. Don't talk to cats. I'm probably still going to do it. I'm going to talk to a cat. But if that cat does offer you some kind of a trade or whatever, do not go with it, guys. It's going to erase your memory. Life is going to be hard to live from now on. It's going to be pain. Freaking Jin's dad. And then it's like, I think one thing that's really cool too about this story, and a lot of the stories that I've watched in K-dramas a lot recently, has been like there's generational things that are happening. You know, there's like these huge, there's like Jin's dad. We might have thought like, oh, he's a bad guy, and all these different things. But then once you realize that it's not even that. It's not that Jin's dad is the bad guy. He's actually kind of like one of the first victims that we would know of so far of this story. Like, I don't know, he's actually a victim in this. And even though he is kind of like this doucher, kind of freaking, like the corporate bad guy or whatever that you're seeing right now, it's all because like he started off good and all these things. He just got lost in the map of the soul and he didn't get fixed. Like he didn't find it. He didn't have friends like Jin had with the rest of the group. So I think it's really, I don't know. I like that story because it's got a lot of that depth. Yes, talk to cats, but don't strike a sketchy deal with the cat. We can be friends with the cat, but we cannot. You don't strike deals with the cat. My first reaction to HYYH 10-year announcement. We're finally gonna find out everything. Finally, right? Kay said my cat could care less if I ever talk to him. Just feed it. Yeah. Well, it's a good way to live. Addison said, John, glad you finally got into this. It's been waiting for a long time. This is going to be a fun ride. I feel like kind of with this journey, a lot of stuff's been perfect timing with us. I've wanted to get into the BU since I first heard about it. In fact, if you go back and rewatch some of I think maybe even my first freaking podcast with Nico, we were talking about the BU. I was like, dude, you're a really big fan of Marvel stuff. And I was like, I love Marvel too, but I've heard that like the story of the BU dwarfs Marvel. And I had no idea even back then how big it was. So like, I'm glad that we waited until now because I've seen all the videos, or at least all the music videos. I've watched a lot of different stuff. So I know where things will fall in line now. And I'm glad that we've actually got a solid foundation going into the BU. Whereas if I would have watched it all the way back then, whenever I heard about it, and I thought, this is so cool. When I was Baby Army, if I would have watched it then, I would have been, I don't know. I would have probably been so overwhelmed, and even if I did understand what was going on, kind of, I never would have really like grasped how awesome it was, you know? Roscoe has BU mania. So has he gone through the entire thing? Has he gone through the whole BU? I know like Roscoe actually, like, I'm pretty sure got into BTS maybe like a year before I did or something like that. He was pretty well into into BTS before I got into it. But how far has he made it? Has he gone through it all? Someone needs to make a full feature movie of the BU so we watch it. But they're working on this K-drama, so let's find that too. What is the name of it? Search BTS Universe Story Gameplay on YouTube, and you will find a playlist. The mobile game that is no more. Heck yes! Thank you for letting me know that, because we're definitely going to be getting into it for sure. It's just a stick, right? Or is it? What is the show called though? Yep, Soju. Yeah. Roscoe deep dived the BTU, but has he gone through it all? Like, does he know everything yet? Because if that's the case, I'll react to him reacting to the BU, and we'll just react to Roscoe's reaction to the BU, and we'll be like, dude, yes. I'll just over here being this hype man. Anything he says, I'll be like, yeah. Begin youth. Now I need to end this as soon as they start again. Right. Begin youth trailer. All right, cool. I'm gonna go on and I'll pull that up really quick too. Begin youth. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god. All right, so there's a teaser trailer. There's one from K-Drama Zone. Full trailer. Okay, hold on. So before I actually watch this, I'm gonna put this link in the chat really quick. Please let me know, somebody, if this one's the correct one or not, because I don't want to watch the wrong one. Okay. Roscoe has seen so many meanings in things, even when it's just a stick. Oh, nice. Okay. I got you. Because, yeah, you never know, man. Maybe that stick has meaning. So let me know if somebody will click on that link. I promise you the link's not anything weird, but it might not be the correct trailer. But I do have that pulled up right now. So if you guys will check and see if that's the right one, we'll all watch that trailer together. In this drama, they don't use BTS real names. They use their real last names. But their first names, their characters are from Seven Fates. Okay. Oh, that's really cool. If Jin's father didn't leave a note, would Jin have solved everything? And although he goes to prison, maybe Jin saves him too. Yeah, you never know. Maybe. They changed their first names for Begin Youth, but they have the same names. That's cool that they changed it to Seven Fate character names. That's pretty awesome. That's really cool. So yeah, you guys hit me up. Let me know if that's the correct one, and if it is, we'll watch that one as well too. And I'm sorry for anybody that's rewatching this right now that can't see chat. I don't know why, but for some reason, all right, it is correct. It's not going through. So here we go. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go in and click it. Boop. And then let's get this all lined up, and we'll watch this together. Have you read Seven Fates, John? I read before even becoming ARMY. Really? That's freaking awesome. Had to change the first names because people didn't understand the BU wasn't real. They really thought Hobie's mom abandoned him. I'm glad I had you guys, because if I didn't have y'all, I would have thought the same thing. Like, if I was just going through the BTS rabbit hole by myself and didn't have any homies helping me along this, I most definitely would have been like, freaking Hobie's mom, freaking Jin's dad, freaking V's stepfather. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that I would have been like, what in the heck, Even the thing with V's stepdad, like I know this sounds horrible, but even with V's stepdad, with him like knifing him up with the freaking the soju bottle, even that seems somewhat possible, because if you think about like self-defense, it could have been self-defense, you know what I mean? So that could have been a thing. But here we go. This one is from K-Drama Zone, and this is Begins Youth. And also, Killigore said, John, thank you so much for reviewing the BU. I'm glad I got to join you on this journey. I was a bit overwhelmed when I started learning about it. Listen, I feel you. I'm still feeling a little bit overwhelmed with it all, but I feel like we've got a solid foundation to go into it with now. So at least now we've like watched literally every single music video and every single side music video that they've ever done. And I feel like now we know enough where we can be like, okay, let's do it. It all seems real because we've seen way too many K-dramas. Let's freaking do this. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready for this? Let's go for it. It's finally out. The trailer and the movie we've been waiting for a long time. Captions on. Make sure we got those on. Let's just make sure that we turn it on correctly. Auto-generated English. Fingers crossed. If not, we'll go back. Here we go.
Euphoria. 내가 놓친 게 뭘까?
Wait, hold on. I think it might already have closed captions on there, so.
무서운가? 넌 김청준의 아들이랑 그랬지 마. 전학생? 무슨 국회의원 아들이래요?
김환이야. 그 집 아들. 국회의원 아들 아니고 김환이라고.
엄마 죽이고 불질렀대.
다들 그러잖아. 내가 우리 엄마 죽였다고. 날 욕하고 싶은 사람들은 내가 뭘 하든 욕해.
Oh my god.
날 떠나는 걸 못 견디겠어요. 또 버려지는 기분이라서.
12
Oh god, they did so good on this. Holy crap, this looks amazing.
정우순 이 생일이다!
Good god.
솔직히 난 재개발됐으면 좋겠다는 생각도 들어. 철들면서 가장 먼저 배운 게 뭔가를 포기하고 단념하는 거니까.
Oh my god.
뭔가를 숨기고 지낸다는 게 얼마나 힘든 건지.
말 안 했지?
그날 일에 대해 얘기할 수 있게만 해주면 그렇게 할 수 있게만 해주면 나도 살 수 있어.
니은이가 나
Good
버리고
god.
셋이서 같이 살자!
The music is amazing.
그거 진짜야?
죽었어.
약해서 죽은 거야. 형은 사는 게 재밌어요.
Oh my god.
형도 나 미워할 거예요 이제.
Oh my god.
네가 한 짓 내가 다 밝혀낼 거야. 형이 성공하면 뭐 되는지 알아요? 형 아버지. 나눠줘.
This music is freaking perfect.
너 혼자 다 짊어지지 말고.
우리 내일 바다 안 갈래요?
같은 삶을 살아낸 사람만이 그 삶에 대해 평가할 권리가 있는 거야.
다 같이 있었으면 좋겠어.
Oh my god.
우리 7명 중에 한 명이라도 빠지는 거 싫어.
This is so freaking good. This is so good. This looks so amazing. Like RMC voice. Also, I just gotta make sure that our stream's not gonna get taken down. So I'm pausing it for a whole second, but also just want to say this looks so freaking good. And am I recognizing this one actor? I've seen him maybe in some other K-dramas.
아 왜 이러긴 친구잖아. 친구잖아.
원래 자리가 어딘데?
여기. 지금 우리가 있는 여기.
그냥 만났어야 했던 것 같아요. 그냥 그래야 했던 것처럼.
이건 시작.
낯설고 익숙한 끝이 없는 시작.
This is wild. This is gonna be so good. When does it start? When does it start though? Does anyone know when this comes out? But you know when we'll be able to watch it? Does anyone know? Oh, what if this was just a fan made thing? We're like, why? That is so good though. That looks amazing. They got actors that have their voices. I could tell who was taken, even though I'm not familiar with the Korean actors. That was so good. I thought the series wasn't doing the time travel part. They might be, man. Oh, or initial Okay, so I want to know what we actually know about this. And then also, does anyone have any idea this month, I think? Let's see whenever Begin Youth. Let's just look. Not gonna lie, it's actually Fever Dream. The BU is actually, I'll like turn this back on. Let's open this back up. Let's look through some comments really quick. Literally perfection. Can't wait to see the story full, but based on the trailer, it's fully encapsulating the feelings, relationships, and tone of the story perfectly. I agree with that. I think that looked very much so quite similar to what we had here. They released the trailer 7 days ago. I wonder if there's any kind of information on it. Nope. Dang. Don't you hate whenever there's like no info on this area right here at all? Like there's literally nothing. It doesn't say anything. It's just like, it premiered on this day. Crying already. So excited to see this drama. We're finally getting the full BU. Do we have any information on it? Really getting goosebumps, the trailer. Oh, God. I don't know. It's not really saying anything. And I think they're probably all, dang, I don't think we're going to have any kind of information, guys. So the character names, the same characters. Is that true? Also, wait, this month, Mary Jane, do you have any, does anybody have any information on it that we'd be able to find on here? Doesn't have a release date yet. Dang, Begin Youth. Let's look and see if there's... BTS Universe Drama. Begin Youth trailer is out now. It seems like everything is going to be 6 days ago. As of now, no release date is made public. Originally titled Blue Sky. The series name was then later changed to Youth. And then, okay. Web series? It can't be a web series. They're going to have to do a full-on show, right? Have fun storming the castle, boys. Yes. This is amazing, though. I cannot wait to find out what we actually get from this when it actually happens. Quick Google search said it would be out before the end of the year. It's going to be on Web 3.0 channel and no date as of yet. Dang. Wait, so... saw the schedule somewhere. Thought Weverse, but I can't find it now. Do y'all think that... Addison, have a blessed rest of your night. Thanks for hanging, homie. Do y'all think that we're going to end up getting... Do you think this is going to be on the, it's going to be Web3, or you think it's going to be on something else? Rainstorm, what up, homie? How you doing? And also, Earth Mother, have a blessed rest of your night. Thanks for hanging out with us. I read on Twitter that the trailer is on the fair in France. On a fair. That's awesome. Rainstorm said it will probably come out around the guys' enlistment, so Army is not so sad and the last members go in. So I could see that. I could definitely see that. That would be amazing if they ended up doing that. But also at the same time, dear God, the fact that it's such a tragic story too. There's a lot of freaking rainy days in that show, man. A lot of rainy days. I'm sure Bank 10 TV or Weverse will announce it. True. I need sleep, but I love you guys so much. Have a blessed one, Meg. Sorry I've been MIA. I've been slacking on homework this week. No, dude, you're totally cool. That was a wild watch. If you haven't seen it yet, you totally need to watch it. It's a web series. First look at this shown last July. I'm kind of I would normally be afraid since this is going to be a web series. A lot of the times web stuff doesn't necessarily get the same treatment that full production shows do, like a Netflix or Hulu or whatever show, Amazon or something like that. But in this case, dude, it looks freaking awesome. I don't think that we have anything to really be concerned about. I think it's going to be really good, So I'm pretty stoked about it. Hey everyone, I've been watching since I did the comic book web series. This opened the whole window for more. Yeah, heck yeah. I hope it's on Netflix or Disney Plus, but I don't know about Web3. So the only thing about that I would say about Netflix is a lot of countries don't have a lot of shows for Netflix. For some reason, there's a lot of I don't know. They end up not putting a lot of the same shows on it. So it would be. I don't know why they do that, but there might be those type of things to get over, and I'm really wondering if they might be doing the web series that way they can actually get as many people to be able to see this in as many different countries as possible. Because I don't know why. I don't know why they do that. But a lot of people have to end up getting like VPNs and stuff like that to be able to watch stuff in different countries. PH said, "Hi John, watching you from the Philippines. Thank you so much for being here. How are you today?" But yeah, thank you guys for hanging with us, man. This has been a really fun stream, and I know I know that it's kind of been wild. I know that there was a deeper one. We normally like every Sunday it's just like, let's do something awesome, and I'm really glad that we watched this on a live stream though. That way we can communicate through some stuff, because there's a lot of questions I had that you guys answered really quick for us. And I appreciate that for sure. Even if it's a web series, I'm sure Army can make it mainstream for sure. That's what I think too. I totally agree with that. I think that the power of Army, you're going to end up like whatever platform this is on, it's going to be successful. But I think that if they do it on Web3 or like any type of web thing, I do think that it will be more available to more people or something without loopholes. I'm a horrible yawner. I'm so sorry. Good night. I had an amazing night. I needed it. I had a stressful week of health stuff, but I'm okay. Not sick, just technology stuff. Love you guys. Peace. Jesse, have a blessed night. Thanks for hanging with us as well, too. Hive is trying to create their own content channels. Hence the push for Web3, which is something that they're trying to use as a money-making thing. Web3 still kind of, in a sense, confuses me a little bit. I'd really try to, like stay up to date with a lot of stuff. But the problem is like Web3 and also Sandbox and also, thank you so much for the freaking sub here, homie. But like Web3 and a lot of different things came around the same time. And they, I don't know, man. It kind of fizzled out a lot, in my opinion. So I'm wondering what they're going to end up doing with it. Like what Web3 is going to be and what they mean by that, you know? But this week, we're starting officially the BU. So Tuesday and Thursday, our BTS reactions are going to be videos that actually are going to be encompassed in the BU stuff. Mother freaking Chris! How you doing, dude? So that's what we got going on this week. We're going to start the BU. And then also, we just posted up the Swoozu. I think that's how you pronounce it. We just posted that on our Patreon. So if anybody wants to head over to our Patreon, check that out. We just posted that concert today. And then, I don't know. I've got, seriously, just want y'all to know, this month is going to be the wildest month for full concert reactions on our Patreon. So if you guys have any suggestions, I'm going to be doing Stray Kids. They just did one in the freaking Tokyo Dome, so we're going to be doing that one, and then also going to be doing one for ATEEZ as well, because we just did a full album reaction there. Freaking amazing. So if you guys ever have suggestions for it, hit me up over there, and yeah, we're going for it, man. SK Stray Kids have South Korea does have laws specifically about Web3 and access. They will allow you to subscribe using credit card, but you have to create a wallet and then store money in. Freaking do not like the whole, I don't know, man. Some of the wallet stuff is rough. But yeah, guys, thank y'all. Thank y'all very much for hanging out with us on this whole thing. And thank you, Flowers, for dropping the whole Patreon. This is going to be wild. And also, last little bit of news I just wanted to share with anybody that's still here right now, chilling out with me, and then anybody that's watching this in the live stream after it's posted. But I know I made a video on this talking about I'm going to be trying to do a lot more of the travel vlogs. I also want y'all to know, if y'all have watched any of my travel vlogs, I'm going to be doing a lot more research into the places that I go to whenever I go there. And I'm going to be taking a lot of different footage. The travel vlogs are going to look a lot more professional going forward, because I'm really going to be trying to schedule out stuff. That's something that I really am not great at. I'm not good at scheduling things. I'm really good at being like, let's do this, and then we just do it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be just necessarily doing a lot of pre-planning, or if I'm going to be doing a lot of post-learning and trying to find out more about things. But if I do get to make it to Hong Kong, I'm going to be doing a lot of research before I get there and trying to find out places for us to go eat at, find cool things for us to look at and stuff like that, and doing those things. So just know that very much so going to be working hard on trying to make the best possible travel vlog and showing how music connects all of us, because that was for me the biggest takeaway from my Japan trip. Anybody that followed that, and thank you guys, thank you very much. But anybody that did follow the Japan trip, that was my main takeaway from it all. There's a lot of times where I was like, I don't like, I'm taller than everybody else. I look completely different. And like, there's a lot of wild things where I was just like, I felt a little out of place. And then whenever I was able to go to a concert, it was like none of that stuff mattered. None of it at all did. Like, we all spoke the same language, and it was really cool that we all spoke like music. Music was what we were all there for. We all loved the band that we were there to see, and it was just like a very, I don't know, like a really cool experience for me to, in another country where I don't speak the language hardly at all, we were able to all connect on that. And I thought that was really cool. So that's what I really want to be able to show with the travel vlogs moving forward. That's what we're going for. But yeah, I think a mix of both would work really well for you. Plan some, learn more about it when you encounter it later. Very true. I think so too. So that's really what I'm going for, man. And Nikki, I did not get to see your message. I saw some of it, and I'm so freaking sorry. But yeah, all over TikTok and Twitter today, I guess, and they got a guessing who. Oh, dang, that sucks, man. But guys, thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. I hope y'all have a blessed week, a blessed Monday, blessed freaking entire week. And I will be seeing you guys again on next Sunday. And then any of the reactions, if you guys have some suggestions, hit me up with some stuff. Let me know what new things are coming out. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next time, homies. Freaking love y'all to death. And if y'all need me, message me for real. Any of my socials,